Welcome to Biology. Biology. Biology.
Obviously not the Sunday you expected. Tell us what you saw, what you heard, and then what you did.
I didn't see much. I finished up my preparations for a rehearsal before services, came out to get my earphones in the car. I was standing in the parking lot. This is about 9:43. A lot of clouds, very low ceiling deck, and I heard a helicopter coming on a slow left-handed turn, probably from the freeway from Lost Hills. And as it got above me, it was almost directly above us in the parking lot, or these condominiums here, moving very slowly, maybe 3, 4, 5 miles an hour. So it was in a hover, searching hover, but I could tell from a sound engineer with sound pressure, you could tell it was the altitude was low. So I listened, I looked directly up, and I couldn't see it. So it had to be up maybe 100 or 150 feet in the cloud deck, because I wasn't seeing any disturbance. If the helicopter's in a hover, its rotor wash is going to be throwing a lot of air down. I didn't see any disturbance in the clouds. So I just listened to it. My alarm bells went off because I'm going, this is awfully low. And I knew that we've got the terrain over there. He hit it off on an easterly track, went right over the Los Virgenes Water District building right there, and still in that little bit of a left-hand turn, and about 20 seconds later from when it was here, heard the impact.
What did the impact of the helicopter sound like to you?
It was not very loud. You could hear the crushing, collapsing of fiberglass, plexiglass. I did note, the thing that stuck in my mind is when it impacted, the rotors stopped literally immediately. There was no secondary, the rotors weren't like breaking off and hearing things fly off. It just all stopped. So however the impact happened, it ended very, very quickly. I hope that the occupants didn't suffer because it was very, very quick, because it went silent within just a thump. And no explosion in the sky. I was not in a visual standpoint because of the trees in the building. The property manager, Jerry, whom I work with, was standing right over here by the marquee, and he was on the phone talking to somebody, heard the impact, and looked over, and he saw the smoke because he had a visual line of sight. The clouds were low enough that the helicopter went in basically right at the cloud line. He must have just come out of it, but he flew probably straight into the hill. That's why I think he went in rotors first, because everything just immediately stopped.
And then what did you see after that? Was there smoke? Were there flames?
Once I immediately pulled out my phone, called 911 within 45 seconds. I was on with dispatch. They transferred me to fire department dispatch. Was speaking to them. The sheriffs were already overshot and were heading down to Mulholland Highway. And I said, they're going too far. It's not at Mulholland. It's right here at the Water District, because I know it was flying on an eastern track. It's a lot farther up. So dispatcher said, I've lived here for 50 years and I know each canyon and location. She says, I'm glad you know where everything is. And then within 4 or 5 minutes, from 3 different directions, 3 different fire units, sheriff, search and rescue, all appeared.
Thank you for calling 911.
It's a terrible tragedy.
It is.
I think he was just disoriented. I didn't hear any malfunctions on the aircraft. Apparently, Kobe's helicopter was a twin turbine, so he had power, and it sounded like he was in control, because it was in a slow. It's hard to control a helicopter when you're in a hover or a slow. You've got to have command of the aircraft. So I think he just was disoriented, and he did not know where he was.
I came out here about 2 hours, 90 minutes after it happened. It was still foggy.
Yeah.
There was no blue sky. Is that usual to see that kind of weather out here?
I met one of the residents who's lived here for 17 years. He said all the time that he's lived here, right in this condo here, he says he's never seen the clouds or the fog so dense or so low.
Really?
The music director that I work with was coming up from Montanito, halfway to Malibu from here, 4 miles away. He said there were no clouds where he was. So apparently we have these, these local little microclimates, and the property manager, who's been here for 10 years, says this particular little bowl here has a tendency to generate a lot of clouds and fog from time to time.